go. Not a good start for those on the even side of the grid. Oh, more spins down and chaos down at Paddock Corner. So he wants to take control of the race. Ward's going to be up the inside going for P2 now.
Going to have the inside line on Joe Holmes and goes for it, but it's contact! And that's too much for Adam Wright.
So here we are, the start of a Club 100 season, first season in the Sprint Championship, and we're at Buckmore Park where the weather was absolutely lovely, if not a little bit chilly and blustery, but sunshine all day, which was absolutely lovely for the heats and the final. And we'll get straight into it with some highlights from the heats. Now, for our first heat, we'd be line up in row 5 inside of the grid and behind Ed Bars, a past champion for Club 100, so a great opportunity for us in this one to follow a more experienced driver, see if we can learn some tricks of the trade. But going into the first corner, not quite sure where to go. We had a little bit of pressure from behind, ran wide from the apex and probably ideally we want to be, and then couldn't really make my mind up quick enough as to whether I wanted to try and keep it to the inside of that car that was spinning or take it around the outside, and as a result we end up getting completely screwed off that first lap, and I think that's down to us needing to be a bit more assertive off the start. So I think that was a bit of a running theme for the heats in this first round of the Sprint Championship, just not assertive enough. But we're able to get up the inside there of Amy Breacher going through Garda and see how we fare, trying to work our way back through the pack. Going on, we catch back up with a bit of a gaggle of karts going through the first two corners there, slowing each other up, so we try to take a better line going through the first two, sneak it up the inside. We end up 3 wide going into the first hairpin, and that really affects our momentum, not able to sort of get off the corner particularly well, and then trying to take it tight going through the second hairpin, get slowed down even more, taking too much curb, bumping around, a little bit of tapping with the cart in front, and we end up losing the position out of that, which isn't great. But we do follow Amy through there, and she makes a move going down the bottom of the hill through paddock, getting a little bit fighty with the cart there we can see in front, and that gives them a compromised line which we can take advantage of going up the hill through Cafe. And then we'll sort of jump forward towards the end of the race there, because nothing really happened from that point, apart from on this last lap making a mistake going through that bottom corner at paddock and losing 2 positions on the last lap. Really frustrating and definitely avoidable. But we move on, so let's go to heat number 3.
Quick turnaround here. All set to go for this one. And green, good start for Tim Penny and the odd side of the grid. Looks like Russell Cooper's already cut through to second place, and Daz Teal, here he comes. This is the big chance for Teal to get points on the board. He's had a strong day so far. Can he turn this into a race victory? He's already up to second place. Greg Smith going around the outside there in the all green. Now on the inside for hairpin number 2. Contact warning for Reese Pope, just rejoining the circuit there. Good start, in fact, for Greg Smith. I think he's gained 3 or 4 positions in all of that. Dan Seeger's just behind him as well. And here comes Teal, trying to find a way past Tim Penny. Penalty for Kevin Schofield, the number 77. I think that may have been for breaking formation. Teal down the inside into Garda. He's back at the front here at Buckmore Park.
Yeah, and I fancy Teal's chances in this one.
So like I said, we jumped ahead to heat number 3 now, and that's not because nothing happened in heat number 2, but it's more so the fact that I forgot to record heat number 2. So obviously a little bit rusty from recording races over the winter break. But we're in heat number 3 now. We started on pole, and we lost a couple of positions on the end of that first lap. Just lack of pace. Strong field in this race, but I think it's just a lack of pace overall. And rather than trying to fight it too much and end up with a massive train of karts, which could end up really screwing us. I thought it was just a better case of letting, that was Daz Teal going past again, another really quick driver in this Club 100 Sprint Series. So the thinking was possibly of locking onto the back of him and trying to pull on, but that didn't really happen, and we got a penalty in this one. Apparently tapped a cone somewhere. I've been through the footage a lot and couldn't work out where it was, but obviously tapped something somewhere. We can see the penalty coming up the side there, going over the start finish line. But that was the end of the heats, and it wasn't enough to get us into the A final, but it was enough to get us into the B final. And my sort of goal for this season is to not be in any C finals. So round one, we've managed to avoid that and at least given ourselves a chance of getting through to the A final. Now, Club 100 Sprints, if you are in the C final, the top 4 from that race get through to the B, and the top 2 from the B get through to the A. So a slim chance, but we'll see how this one starts off.
12 minutes on the clock, away we go in the B final.
Strong start from the pole side of the grid, and it's allowed some early charges there. I think David Longman has managed to get to the inside in the 79. Andrew Ward has managed to find the inside as well, I think, into hairpin 1. Oh, we've got a bit of jostling there. They're going to go 4, even 5 wide into hairpin 2. And this is an interesting start to our B final. Oh my goodness me. 3 wide, some of them by the time they get to the S's. They all, to be fair to them, are pointing the right way though after that. And I didn't think I'd be saying
I'm
that.
pleasantly surprised that everyone is still facing in the correct way. I think there was a lot of jostling and a bit of loading coming from the mid-pack. Greg Smith's not too happy in the middle of it all there. You can tell this is a B final. You can tell there's a lot of drivers who feel like they should be in the A. But 11 minutes and 10 seconds of it to go. At the moment it is Sakauskas, Longman, Ward. Now, what do you do if you're Andrew Ward in this situation? I want to say that you push these top...
Not the best first lap from us. We didn't really go anywhere. 18th off the grid, P19 at the end of lap 1. But at least we didn't get caught up in anything major. We do make a position up going into hairpin 1.
Yeah, there.
And then later in the lap...
I'm going to mention that he's the lowest down of the Class 1 runners.
Oh, and Elliot Alt takes out some of the codes now, though. Now he will argue that he was forced into that and had nowhere to go.
That was certainly an interesting one to be behind and see those bollards go flying. I don't think Elliot got a penalty for that, because I think quite rightly, as the guys from Double Dash said, he was kind of forced into that from my perspective. So good stewarding there from the Club 100 stewards. Then going on to lap 4, we're able to get up the inside of Elliot, going into turn 1, trying to work our way up into P16, and then get a good run going up the inside there of hairpin 1 into P15, and that would become a little favourite move in this race. We seem to be getting pretty good runs coming off turns 1 and 2. And we've got a little bit of a gap to break down now, which we have broken down by sort of the halfway point in the next lap, able to get the inside of Paddock, going through there, giving just enough room on the outside to make sure that both of us can get through there safely. And we're up to the P14, again a bit of a gap to the karts in front, but lap 6 we've broken that down. Lurk and try to get the inside of hairpin 1, but no, it gets sort of shut off and we think better of it. But getting a bit argy-bargy from the karts in front, and we get a good run round the outside and pull off a pretty cheeky little move round the outside of hairpin 2, keeping that momentum up. It worked quite nicely, so up into P13 on lap 6. Lap 7, again trying to go for our move going into hairpin 1 into P12, but this time we get a penalty for that move. Now I'll be interested to see from you guys watching what you think about that, because I kind of feel like that was no different to any other moves that I pulled off. There was a little bit of contact, but nothing that I thought slowed either of us down too much. You can see there on the Digi flag our penalty, 4 positions, so pretty much guaranteed there that we were never going to make it into the A final. But being down in P11 now, what effectively is P15, it wasn't going to happen anyway. So now it's just racing for a bit of pride, and we've got a big gap in front of us with lots of clear track. And as soon as we got clear track, we started setting fastest lap. So end of lap 9 going to lap 10, we set the fastest lap of the race, and then end of lap 10 going on to lap 11, we set another fastest lap of the race. And at this point here, we set a bit of a string of fastest laps, and each one was about 7/10 quicker than the guys at the front. Now the guys at the front obviously were trying to behave themselves, I would imagine, making sure they didn't do anything silly, ensuring that they were able to get through to the A final safely, and maybe not pushing maybe quite as hard as I was trying to do to break down this gap. But it was nice to see at the end of the race, looking through the timing screens, that we did have the pace for this race had we been in a slightly better position. So a bit of confidence going through there. But I thought we'd run through this last of our fastest laps, our string of 4 fastest laps on consecutive ones, just sort of see how it went and how that gap was coming down to the 2 karts that we've got in front. I think that's Greg Smith in the all green, and Stephen Westwood, someone that we did a little bit of racing against for the Experience Championship last year. They were at the front a bit more than we were, but good to see. I do like Stephen Westwood's helmet. He's sort of like grey, gold and white little number. It looks good, but realistically we don't want to be looking at that helmet too much. We want to be in front of it so that we can't see it. So that's our goal now. We're in P11, technically P15 as it is on the road, going to lap 13, lap 14 now. We sort of caught up to the point where we see a little bit of a gap in hairpin 2, go for it, but it wasn't really there, and we've kind of lost our element of surprise now. So Stephen knows that we are there, and it's going to be a lot harder now to try and make a move here. Going on to the last lap of the race, lap 16 in P11, can we get up into P10, even if it will technically knock us back down into the teens, but more for pride of finishing in the top 10 for the B final on the road. Just covers off going into hairpin 2, nothing doing there, trying to get a good run off the hairpin, but it was a bit wishful, probably thinking of maybe getting a move through these S's, and we're now thinking, can we make a move down to the bottom of the hill? Good run going through the S's down the hill into paddock, wasn't really there. Can we get a run off of paddock going towards Garda? It gets covered off by Stephen, so our last chance now is to try and come off the left-hander here after Garda going up the hill through Cafe. We do sneak up the inside the Cafe. It's side by side, not quite there, and Stephen just keeps it in front of us going across the line, but good fun, and we end up getting one of those penalty pushes back from the driver in front. But some close races at the end of that B final, and really good fun to finish that one off, giving a bit of a thumb up to Stephen, just say thanks for the racing at the end there. But that was round 1 at Buckmore Park of our Sprint Championship, and the next one will be at Wilton Mill, which I'm really looking forward to. We dive at Wilton Mill, so hopefully I'll see you there next time, and until then, have a good one.